Oh my God, that I know. Somebody please say it ain't so. Fantasia just revealed some things that Clive Davis and Diddy did to her that a lot of people thought was going on but didn't know for sure. Well, Fantasia confirmed it in this heartbreaking video. I need y'all to watch the video all the way through. I got so much love for y'all. Make sure y'all do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Without further ado, let's get into this devastating Fantasia video.
Had the kind of Cinderella story that America loves. A single mother from North Carolina who dropped out of high school, survived, and stunned the nation with her voice on American Idol.
You're going to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
At 19, she was a star. But behind that victory was a system she didn't understand, and no one warned her what was coming. By the time she was 26, Fantasia wasn't living the dream. She was in her bedroom closet with a bottle of aspirin, ready to die.
Fantasia, allegedly, you took a fistful of aspirin and went in the closet in your bedroom?
Yeah. A lot of times when you come into this industry, you have people who say they're there for you, but a lot of times they're just there to get what they can get, or because money is involved.
She didn't try to sugarcoat it. In that moment, she wasn't thinking about her daughter. She wasn't thinking about her career. She just wanted the pain to stop. And when she looked around, the people who were supposed to protect her were gone. That's where Clive Davis comes in, the industry titan who signed her. The same man behind Whitney Houston, Alicia Keys, and Janis Joplin. But when asked about how he prepares young artists for fame, Clive gave an answer that now feels cold. I don't get involved in their personal lives. That silence, it cost lives. Fantasia later said she didn't have a team that cared about her, only what she could earn. I wish someone had told me, don't buy that car, check your accountant, watch your money, she said. Everybody had their own self-interest. She was a teenager thrown into an adult industry, and at the top of that system, mentoring Clive Davis, was Diddy, a man now accused in federal court of intimidation and worse. For context, former Danity Kane singer Dawn Richard delivered a chilling testimony alleging that Sean Diddy Combs once issued a disturbing warning about the consequences of disobedience. Richard, who rose to fame under Combs's Bad Boy Records imprint during the early 2000s, recalled being told by the music mogul that people could go missing for going against his wishes or failing to follow his orders. On Friday, May 16th, Richard testified that she interpreted the comment as a threat of deadly consequences, and that people could die for disappointing or angering Combs. Now Clive and Diddy were the architects. Fantasia was just one of the voices chewed up by their machine.
You have more money than we have, Fantasia.
You don't know that.
Okay.
A lot of artists that you see, they look like they have it. And we smile and we come out and we put on a good show. But in real life, some of them are struggling. And we don't have it. I'm just now building myself back up. I lost everything twice.
It wasn't just financial ruin. Fantasia said she felt abandoned. Everybody who started with me, they were gone. Nobody helped me clean it up. I had to do it by myself, she said. That loneliness, that isolation, it mirrors the stories we've heard about other artists in Clive Davis' orbit. Artists who died, broke, addicted, alone. And now, with Diddy's name tied to federal courtrooms and his connections to Clive Davis resurfacing, Fantasia's darkest moment is being reevaluated. Was she just another casualty of the industry? Or was she one of the lucky few who lived to tell the truth? Fantasia wasn't just young when she got famous. She was unprotected. At 19, she had no industry mentor, no financial guidance, no one to explain the contracts she was signing or the people she was trusting. And she's been blunt about that ever since.
When you got endorsement deals coming, you're on tour, there's so many different money coming in from every different what you raise. So you being 19, you're on the road, they bring somebody and say, okay, this is such and such, nice to meet you, they're gonna be your accountant, and this is, you know what I mean? It's like a fast, everything is so fast.
And everybody.
Shortly after American Idol, her own father sued her for defamation over her memoir. The label Clive Davis placed her with, J Records, pushed out her first 2 albums. One sold well, the second flopped. Suddenly, the same people who were smiling in rooms and board meetings started disappearing. And the money? Gone. Not just once, but twice. That's not a bad year, that's a system failure. The deeper you dig, the more it looks like Fantasia was never meant to win long term. Not under Clive, not in an industry that still capitalizes off young, vulnerable black women, then tosses them aside once they stop selling headlines or records. And it wasn't just her finances, it was her soul. When Fantasia took on the role of Celie in The Color Purple, she wasn't acting. She was reliving her own trauma. For context, Celie is a character who's by her father, silenced and discarded. And when Fantasia took that role again for the 2023 film adaptation, she almost said no.
Her walk is not an easy walk.
No.
And she carries a lot. She carries everybody. And at the time when I was doing Broadway, I was carrying everybody. And my life was so much like Celie's.
That wasn't an exaggeration. When she played Celie in 2007 on Broadway, she said she carried the pain home every night. Nobody taught her how to come out of character, except for Taraji P. Henson. She wasn't just carrying a role. She was carrying years of unresolved trauma, industry manipulation, and personal loss. And the more you look at it, the more it mirrors what happened to Whitney Houston. Both women had gospel roots. Both were pushed into superstardom young. Both were linked to Clive Davis. Both spiraled under pressure. One didn't survive. So when Fantasia says, "Everybody who started with me is gone," that's not metaphor, that's reality. She was one of the only ones left standing. And with Diddy now facing court proceedings connected to people like Clive, to artists who died young, to women who vanished from the spotlight or worse, it raises the most painful question of all. How many more were silenced before they could tell their story? On August 9th, 2010, Fantasia Barrino made headlines for all the wrong reasons. But what the headlines didn't capture, what they couldn't capture, was the quiet storm that had been building inside her for years. The label executives were gone. The managers were silent. The cameras were off. All that was left was a woman sitting in a closet with a bottle of sleeping pills and a bottle of Bayer, staring at her own reflection. "I didn't care if I woke up," she said. "I just wanted to go to sleep. And if I didn't wake up, I was okay with that." 3 days before that, Fantasia had locked herself in a guest room. She wasn't eating. She wasn't talking. She was shutting down, and nobody noticed. Not her family, not her team, not the people who had stood next to her on red carpets or collected checks from her tours. At the time, she was being publicly dragged for allegedly having an affair with a married man. Paparazzi were outside her house. Tabloids ran stories daily. But the truth was deeper than that. The affair was just a match. The fire had been burning long before. Fantasia later revealed that she had written goodbye letters to everyone close to her daughter, Zion, to her little brother, who had been getting in trouble at school, to her estranged brother Teeny, who was angry over money, to her manager, her best friend, her mother. She placed the notes in a book, made sure they'd be found. "I asked everyone to leave. I went into my closet and I sat there. I looked in the mirror and I just sat for hours." She took the pills. She meant it. And when she woke up in the hospital, angry, groggy, and hooked to IVs, she realized she had survived something she wasn't ready to face. The world found out almost immediately. TMZ, CNN, local news. But what most outlets skipped over was how calculated her industry had become in cleaning up these kinds of breakdowns. Just like Whitney, just like Michael, just like so many others. There was always a plan in place to fix the public image, but never to fix the person. She was discharged on the condition that she attend outpatient therapy. And for the first time in years, Fantasia said she stopped pretending. "I was in a room with CEOs and lawyers. And I realized they broke too. I wasn't the only one. But the pressure didn't stop. Within days, she was back in front of the camera. Her album was dropping. The label was depending on her. The tour was booked. They told her to rest, but she knew she couldn't afford to. No protection, no grace, just a countdown to the next dollar. It's not a coincidence that Fantasia's darkest hour came while being managed and controlled by a system shaped by Clive Davis and adjacent to Diddy, the same Diddy now facing a federal trial that may pull other powerful men into the spotlight. Because what Fantasia lived through. That wasn't just her personal rock bottom. That was a warning. And this time, people are finally paying attention. By the time Fantasia turned 40, she wasn't chasing charts anymore. She was chasing peace. She was speaking without fear. On red carpets and press tours for The Color Purple, she wasn't just promoting a movie. She was reclaiming herself. The same woman who once nearly died playing Celie on Broadway was now using that same role to tell the world she had survived. She said it wasn't about a check. She turned down the film at first, said no, said hell no. Why? Because she knew what it would force her to face again. The trauma. The feeling of being invisible. But this time was different. She had a team, she had a family, she had therapy. She was finally doing it on her own terms. And for the first time in her career, she wasn't afraid to admit how broken the system had been. The industry didn't protect her, the labels didn't shield her, but she made it.
Now that I'm older and I'm wiser, I'm taking it in as all three.
All right, I love
a
it.
different pocket, different place.
And when asked if this was a comeback, she shut it down. She never left. This ain't a comeback. This is a come up. Fantasia never named names. She didn't need to. Her scars did the talking. But in 2025, with Diddy on trial and Clive Davis' name resurfacing in conversations about manipulation, exploitation, and death in the music industry, Fantasia's survival means more than ever, because now we know the signs. Now we've heard the stories. Whitney Houston didn't survive. Janis Joplin didn't survive. So many women connected to Clive, either by contract or career, didn't make it out. And Fantasia, she nearly joined them, but she didn't. She crawled out of the hole they left her in. She rebuilt from scratch. She learned to cook her own food, drive her own car, pay her own bills, not because she wanted to prove something, but because there was nobody left to do it for her. That's the part the industry never expected. They were counting on another breakdown, another overdose, another tragedy to explain away with vague statements and rush tributes. Instead, Fantasia lived. She watched the machine that almost killed her get dragged into federal court. She watched the mentors and moguls who once seemed untouchable finally get exposed. She watched a new generation start asking questions about contracts, about power, about survival. She doesn't need revenge. She doesn't need to name Diddy or Clive. Her life is the proof. Her music, her faith, her fight. It all speaks louder than the industry ever did. So when she says, "To God be the glory," she's not just saying it for herself. She's saying it for everyone who didn't make it out. Because this time, she did.
Oh my God, do. I really can't believe half of this stuff that Fantasia went through. When is the Clive Davis trial gonna happen? That's what I want to hear about. Diddy not the only one that was doing people dirty. Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, Angie Stone, and so many others. And Fantasia, who's gonna be next? How long is this gonna go on? How many generations did this man destroy with his bad business and bad dealings? Y'all gotta let me know how y'all feel about this in the comment section, man. I got so much love for y'all. I'm praying for Fantasia. They said she had a mental breakdown not that long ago, so hopefully she got family and friends around her. But a lot of times when people got money and fame, they really don't have family and friends. That's the craziest thing about it. The fans don't count. Fans use you for whatever they can get out of you, whether it be entertainment, your energy, most importantly, your energy. That's why people try to stay away from fans, because they are the ultimate energy vampires. Not all of them, but a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Fantasia. And let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. I got so much love for y'all. And for all you beautiful ladies out there, y'all already know I risk my mother life.
Risk my life to give you documentations, girl. I risk my life to give you documentations, girl. I risk my life to give you documentations, girl. I risk my life to give you